This video/stream is sponsored by Trader Central. Trader Central provides funding for traders, spot cryptocurrency exchange services, and access to trading tools like copy trade software, portfolio tracking, and a social platform exclusive for communicating with trader friends. Sign up now using the link in the description and get up to 30% off on your first plan.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? Hope you guys are having a great week so far. As the market has given us plenty of opportunities to capitalize on. In this video, I want to quickly talk about my analysis for GBP/USD and GBP/JPY. And I'll start off with GBP/USD from the weekly time frame and work my way down to the 4-hour or hourly time frame. Now, on the weekly time frame, we can see that continuing from last week, price has been trying to push to the upside. Initially started pushing to the upside, got towards resistance area around the 1.205 area, and then quickly rejected, and now price is forming this sort of doji candle. And like I mentioned from last week, my bias again for GBP/USD is actually more towards the upside, and I'm waiting for price to at least get towards the trend line, and then we'll see how price reacts to it, whether price breaks it or not, or bounces to the downside. And if we go to the daily time frame again, we can see what's happening here. That on Monday we can see price pushed towards this resistance area here, around the 1.205 area, and then price quickly rejected down and didn't close above that area at all, rather from this long wick. And then price again tried to push up but quickly pushed price down again, and now price is currently trading below this resistance area. So this candlestick hasn't closed yet, so we're still waiting to see how the candle will eventually close for the day. And if the candle eventually closes this way, most likely price will continue to the downside and hopefully back down to this next support area. However, if price ends up closing bullish, ends up pushing back to the upside and closing above this resistance area, then most likely price will push to the upside. It means there were a lot of buyers down here who ended up pushing price all the way back up to above resistance area, and then that would give us a very strong indication to continue to buy for GBP/USD. But for now, price is currently trading below this resistance area, and again, if this daily candle closes this way, then price could end up pushing to the downside a little bit more. But again, if buyers are able to push price back above this resistance area, above the 1.205 area, then most likely price will continue to push to the upside. So if we go to the daily time, to the 4-hour time frame, we can see what's happening here. That price did break and close above this area, came down here, tried to push price up, but again, that never happened, and we can see the kind of candlestick that was formed there. So you can see this bearish pin bar, which is an indication that price was going to push to the downside. And then when you also combine the two candles as well, you will see that this here down, and then here forming this bearish pin bar, formed like a double top pattern, and then that's why price has pushed all the way back down into this area, forming this double top pattern. Now price pushed back down and got to this resistance, this support area here around the 1.95 the 1.196 area, and then pushing price back to the upside again. Now when you look at this closely, you would see that this support area here held, which is what we are mostly looking at. And if we go down to the hourly time frame as well, so you can see the double top pattern that I mentioned, price coming back up, down here, up here, and then pushing price all the way back down and completing this double top pattern. Now price got back to this support area, which is held here again, one, and held here again. And you can see when price got there, it held and then pushed price back up, forming this engulfing candle. So really expecting price again to continue to the upside. So price may get here, and then we'll see how price reacts. If price gives us a bearish signal here, then price may end up pushing to the downside. Okay, And if this happens, then this would more or less form a head and shoulder pattern, really. So which is what we would need to look out for in the long run. um so but we will see how that happens, or what happens eventually from there. And if price does play out that way, then we'll be looking at this sort of head and shoulder pattern. But we have to wait and see how price plays out eventually. But for now, again, I wouldn't trade any of this at all. I will still wait for price to get to either this resistance, this area here around the 1.205 area, or to the area down here around the 1.193 area, and then we'll see what happens when price gets to those two levels. Again, we just need to be careful and watch out to see how price plays out. One key thing for us would be looking at the daily time frame. So however this daily candle closes is going to be very, very, very key for us, and that will determine what our subsequent moves will be like. So again, regardless of what happens in the hourly or 4 hourly time frame, if this daily candle closes bearish like this, most likely price will push to the downside. And if it closes bullish, in which this candle ends up closing above this resistance level, then price will continue to push to the upside, and then we will take our trades on the 4 hour or hourly time frame. But we just need to keep a close eye on the daily candle. Next, I'll talk about my analysis for Gbpjpy. So for Gbpjpy, we can see that last week closed bearish, strongly bearish as well, and then this week price tried to push to the upside again, but encountered this resistance level around the 165 area, and then quickly pushed back down again. So at the moment, we're seeing a lot of sellers trying to force price to the downside, even though buyers are trying to push price up, but sellers are being strong to push price to the downside. And we can see that this 165 area has held quite strongly. And again, that would be a key area for us to trade in the near future. So if price breaks above that 165 area, then we should be looking to buy the trades if price breaks above this area here. On the other hand, if price remains below that area, then we're expecting price to push down at least back to this support level around the 163 area, or even further down to the 162 area. And if we go down to the 4 hour time frame, we can see what happened as well. So I mentioned that when price got to this area, I mentioned I was expecting price to continue the up move from here to bounce because of this pin bar that was formed. So I took my trade immediately from there, and gained about 160 pips on that move. Price got to our take profit here, and when immediately price got there again, bounced from that area, formed this sort of double top pattern here, and then bounced to the downside as well. So we're going to see how price reacts. Right now we're still in a limbo. We're not sure where price is going to go to, if it's going to go back to the upside, or if it's going to continue its down move. So for now, I'm not going to trade this. Again, I'm going to wait for price to get to key areas before we trade. So normally I don't take price just from any point. I wait for key areas that I point out in the market, and when price gets to those key levels, I see how price reacts to those key areas. And if I'm given a bullish signal, that means the formation of a bullish candle at those key level of structure, then I end up taking a buy trade. If I'm given a bearish candlestick pattern on those key areas of structure, then I end up taking my sell trade. So that's how I trade basically. speaking. Of course, there are other things that I look at as well, but that's just the basic points of it. It's just to be able to identify key level of structures in the market, key areas where price has reacted to in the past, and then would expect some sort of reaction to those areas. So one of two reactions usually holds: either price breaks that area or price ends up bouncing off that area, and that will depend on the sort of candlestick pattern that is formed there. So that's the the basics of how I trade, and usually works very, very well. As you can see, price reacting to key areas over here. Okay, so this has basically been my analysis for the week. So I'm going to wait for GBP JPY to get to a key level of structure before I trade. So price may end up continuing to the downside, and if price goes all the way down here back to the 163 area, I'll see how price reacts. If price gives me a bullish signal, then I may end up buying from there, and if price breaks this level of structure, then I will end up selling further to the downside. So this has been my analysis for GBPUSD and Gbpjpy. I hope you found this video very helpful. If you have, kindly leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe to the channel for more analysis videos. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great week ahead. Peace.
I can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through.